Welcome back to Beyond Days of the Reef. I'm Kyler. In the last episode, we discovered the polyps that grow together to form large colonies of coral. In this episode, we'll explore just how these colonies can grow together to form giant structures. I personally became interested in tropical oceans because of the beautiful shapes and structures that corals can form. Let's jump right in. Okay. There are many ways that stony corals can grow. The first we'll discuss is tabling corals. If you look where the arrows are pointing, you will see that these corals grow in flat shapes that look almost like tables sticking out from the rock. These grow mostly horizontally out into the water column and can form massive structures that shade the areas underneath. Second, we have branching corals. These are made up of a bunch of different branches of coral like you can see in the picture. They're often found in shallower waters and grow up towards the surface, reaching for the sunlight. Since these corals have thin branches, they can be very delicate and prone to breaking by waves from storms. Third are mounding corals. Can you see the large mound in the top of this picture and the one that's way in the background? They're often found in deeper waters and can grow into massive structures that are bigger than a human. These kinds of corals are very strong and can resist breakage from large waves. The last form of stony coral I mentioned today are encrusting corals. These grow over the surface of rocks and other corals, but don't grow outward from the rock. They form a crust over the area that they live on, like this orange coral. There are also soft corals. These don't have a stony skeleton like the reef-building corals do. These often have softer, woodier cores, or sometimes no skeletons at all. Now that we've explored some of the ways that coral can grow, where do we find them? As you may have guessed, in the tropics. This map from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known as NOAA, shows where all the major coral reefs of the world are located. I added the red lines on the map to show that almost all of the world's corals are found between 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south. They're centered around the equator in the tropics of the world's oceans. These areas have very clear water, allowing sunlight to reach the bottom where the corals grow. The coral live in relatively shallow water, usually less than about 230 feet deep. That's all we have time for today, but if you're excited to learn more about the world's tropical oceans, make sure to tune in for next week's Beyond Days of the Reef. Trop Team out.